Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Garrett and welcome to Altcoin Radar. Today I am going to show all of the beginners out there, all of the beginners who want to try trading crypto. I'm going to show you guys 4 of what I personally think are the best and easiest indicators for a beginner to use while trying to trade the crypto market. Now, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same crypto exchange that I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange with the link in the video description down below this video. One of the big reasons why I personally love this exchange is because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you're from the United States and you want to trade futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. This is actually where I've been currently trading my crypto futures for about the last 6 or 7 months or so, and I absolutely love it, to be honest with you. All right, guys, so we are going to be looking at 4 different indicators today. And again, this video is mainly geared towards beginners who want to learn how to trade with various indicators, okay? So I'm going to be showing you guys 4 of the easiest indicators to get started with, okay? So we are going to go and we're just going to pick a random coin here. I'm going to go ahead and pick Chainlink. And then we are going to, let me go ahead and mark out my personal indicators, and we will start with a fresh chart here. Let me actually go to the 4-hour chart as well. Actually, no, we'll go to the 1-hour chart just because it'll be easier to show different examples here and whatnot. All right, guys, so we are on the 4-hour chart, or sorry, the 1-hour chart, and the first indicator that I'm going to show you guys how to use or how to get started with is going to be the RSI indicator, all right? So the RSI indicator, if you don't know what it is, you can go to indicators up here and TradingView and you type in RSI, and it is basically the relative strength index, and you'll just click it and it will add it to your chart down here, all right? So for those of you who are unfamiliar, completely unfamiliar with the RSI, there's a lot of technical stuff behind the RSI that you could end up knowing or you could look up on your own, but I like to explain things in a very, very, very simple manner. So you're not going to hear any major technical jargon from me or anything like that, because beginners tend to have a beginners have a hard time learning with, technical terms being used and stuff like that. So I'm going to explain this in the easiest way possible. So with the RSI, basically, this is what it looks like, okay? You've got your RSI right here, which is my main green line here, and then we've got the white line, which is a moving average, all right? And then you've got some other lines here. You've got this top dashed line up here, which represents the number 70. And then you've got the middle dashed line, which represents the number 50. And then you've got the lower dashed line that represents the number 30, okay? So basically, when the RSI goes all the way up to the 70 area or above, it technically indicates that the asset is considered overbought and could be due for a potential reversal back to the downside. Now, the same thing is true for when the RSI is down here below the 30 level or at or below the 30 level. It's considered oversold and is due to start going back upwards again, all right? And a good confirmation of being able to tell on if it's for sure if the price is for sure going to start going upwards or not is if the RSI crosses above or below the moving average on the RSI as well. All right, so as you guys can clearly see right here, we've got this perfect example right here. We were extremely oversold right down here, and we ended up crossing the moving average right in here, which would have been right in this area right in here. But we still ended up moving sideways for a little bit, but we did eventually end up breaking out and going back upwards to overbought territory, as you guys can clearly see right in here. All right, so we moved up into overbought territory right in here. And then once we reached that point, we ended up coming back down in the next candle right here. And as you guys can see, this down candle that went straight down for quite a while, you can see it right in here. And it went right back down to the neutral territory of the 50 level. And as you guys can clearly see, it also met up with the moving average right in here as well. So that kind of acted as kind of like a support zone, and it bounced off of that support zone and went right back up once again and then came back down. All right, so that is one way that you can use the RSI. The RSI is a lagging indicator though, so keep that in mind as well. But what's cool about the RSI is it gives you very, very good, valuable insight into what the overall price or what the overall movement of the market is currently doing. And you can literally, if we go ahead and back test this, you can clearly see all of the different ways that it can be used, all right? As you guys can clearly see right here, it was way, way, way extremely oversold sold right down here. And that typically means that obviously it's going to be due for a reversal at some point in time, which it did not end up happening right here. It went back up a little bit, as you guys can clearly see right here, and it did end up crossing or riding the moving average right in here, but it was not enough momentum to continue going back upwards. So it ended up riding it back down, and it rode it back down, and as you guys can clearly see, the price action moved down further as well. But we bounced right there, and as you guys can clearly see, it went straight back up, and it started heading back upwards towards the overbought territory once again. All right, so that is a good example right there of how the RSI can be used in trading. It's a very, very easy, simple and easy indicator to use. All right, so now that we got RSI out of the way, let's go ahead and check out the next indicator, which is going to be the stochastic RSI. So for this one, you just type in Stoch RSI, and it's going to come up right here, stochastic RSI. And you'll just click it, and it will add it to your list right here. This indicator, this RSI is it's got a lot of the same fundamentals as the regular RSI, but the Stoch RSI moves a lot faster with price action. Okay, meaning it literally, it's hard to explain, but it moves a lot quicker, and you can clearly see it on the chart as well. I'll show you some examples of what I'm talking about here. It works pretty much the same as the regular RSI though. As you guys can clearly see right down in here, it was down here into way oversold territory. It's due for a reversal. The lines ended up crossing, and it started going back upwards to the upside, and it rode all the way up to the upside for quite a while before crossing again to start coming back down again. And you can see that downslope right in here. Okay, but this big upslope right here, was all of this right in here. All right, so you could have made profit from that small simple upslope right there. Okay, now here's the thing about these indicators that I'm showing you guys. Okay, now you guys, a lot of you are probably beginners, and you're probably wondering, can you use just one of these indicators and be profitable trading with it? Here's the thing, realistically, yes you can, but it is not recommended. You want to be using a few of these indicators together to be able to confirm your overall bias on which direction you think the price is going to go. Okay, so realistically, you want to use two of these different indicators that I'm going to be showing you here today. Okay, so overall here, again, Stoch RSI, it moves a lot quicker than the regular RSI. It's just a lot more, I guess you could say, accurate, and the Stoch RSI works great on the on the smaller time frames. For instance, you're going to get better results using the Stoch RSI on the 1 hour chart compared to the 1 day chart. But with the regular RSI, this RSI, you're going to get better results with the regular RSI on the daily chart rather than the 1 hour chart. Okay, if that makes sense. All right, guys, so now that we've got the Stoch RSI out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the Bollinger Bands. So you're going to go to indicators, you're going to type in Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands. All right, and you're going to click this one right here. It just says Bollinger Bands, and you'll click it, and it's going to add your Bollinger Bands to your chart right in here. Now, Bollinger Bands are pretty interesting, okay? Bollinger Bands is a very easy indicator to use as well, okay? You can use all of these lines for technically support and resistance levels as well, and I'll explain that later. But, excuse me. So we've got the lower band down here, and we've got the upper band up here, all right? These two can be used as support and resistance. The bottom band can be used as support, and the top band can be used as a resistance, okay? And the middle band is technically a moving average, okay? It's just a regular moving average. It's the 20-period moving average, pretty much. And basically, as you guys can clearly see, we will go back here and we will look at some price data. We'll go back a little bit further just to show you some random. Just to show you a random idea of what I'm talking about here. So the first thing with the Bollinger Bands is when the Bollinger Bands start to contract and get skinny, it basically means that a breakout is going to be happening at some point in time very, very soon, okay? Whether it's in an upward motion or a downward motion, a big move is going to be happening at some point in time very soon when that happens, okay? as you guys can clearly see right here, it got pretty skinny right in here, and then it broke out a little bit, and then it started to drop big time. All right, and as you guys can clearly see, when the bands get wider, it means that the trend is much larger. Okay. And as you guys can clearly see as well, the lower band can be used as support as well. So obviously price started to come down. It hit the lower band and then it went back up and it tried to go up and retest the moving average in the center, but it failed to go above it. So it ended up coming back down to test the lower band once again, and it went back down to the lower band and it went way far below the lower band. And when it goes outside of the lower band, that is a clear indicator that it is extremely oversold and is due for a reversal. And that's exactly what happened right here. It was due for a reversal. It went back up. It gained a lot of momentum, enough momentum to be able to cross through the moving average here in the Bollinger Band and go all the way up to the very top band up here. All right. So somebody who ended up trading that, they would have made roughly a good solid 12, right around 11% profit. That's without using leverage too. If they were using like 10x leverage or something like that, they would have made roughly around 110% within that 7 hours of a trade right there. All right. So same thing can be true right here as well. All right. We were once we got to the top here, we were extremely overbought, and we were due to come back down, down to the downside. And so we came back down to the downside. We retested the moving average on the downside, but buy pressure, there was still enough buying pressure still there, so it did not go through to the downside even further. Instead, it just kept riding the moving average right here and kept riding it until it finally ended up going through and going back down to the downside. All right, so realistically, you could have shorted the top up here after you sold your long. You could have you could have gotten into a short position up at the top here and rode it back down here, and you would have made another extra 5% or 50% profit with 10x leverage. So realistically, within these, let's see here, 6 hours, within these 13 hours right here that we just looked at right in this little area here, you could have made roughly around 160% profit just right in there. So overall, you can see a lot of the different patterns on how the Bollinger Bands work with the overall candlesticks themselves. It just takes time to really go through and figure it out. So if you want to use Bollinger Bands or you want to try to figure them out, my honest to God my honest to God suggestion here is to go back, or just pick a random coin and go back in previous price history and do some back testing and figure out where you would have bought and where you would have sold, and try to get a good generalized idea of how these Bollinger Bands work, because they are very easy to use, and they're very valuable too if you're trying to day trade the crypto market. All right, guys, so now that we've got Bollinger Bands out of the way, now let's go ahead and move on to my personal favorite, which is the EMAs. All right, so we are going to go to the EMAs, and what you want to do here with the EMAs is to get them, you want to go to indicators, and you want to type in EMA, and you want to click this one. It'll be under community, and it'll be EMA 20, 50, 100, and 200. Okay, you'll click it, and it will add EMAs to your chart here. And then what you'll do is you'll go into settings right here, and you will have, when you go into settings, you will have all 4 of them checked. So you will have the 20 period, the 50 period, the 100 period, and the 200 period as well. So all 4 of them will be on your chart here. All right. So realistically, the way that I like to use EMAs is I personally don't even, since I'm a day trader and not a swing trader, I don't even look at the 100 period or the 200 period EMAs. I typically only keep the 20 period and the 50 period on at all times because they work best for me. But if you are trading and you are swing trading, for instance, and you want to use all of them or something, we'll just go ahead and keep them on for shits and giggles here. So with the EMAs, what you can do with the EMAs, it's pretty interesting. It's really cool because they act as support and resistance as well. For instance, as you can clearly see here, price came down big time. Price came down big time from up here, and as you guys can clearly see, price action was underneath all of the EMAs when things were extremely bearish. So that is one key thing you want to keep in mind with the EMAs here, okay? When prices are extremely bearish and you've got a bearish trend going on, price will always be below all of the EMAs here, okay? And when things are bullish, price will always be above both of the EMAs, as you guys can clearly see right here. We turned bullish, and all of the price action was above all of the EMAs here. All right. So that is one key way that you can trade with the EMAs themselves as well. But the way that I personally like to use the EMAs is I like to take off the 100 period and the 200 period, and I like to just keep the 20 and the 50 here. And the reason why is simply because they are shorter term EMAs, and they kind of align with price action a lot quicker. So it works great here on the 1 hour chart, for instance. So for instance, what I like to do here is I like to trade on the crosses. So when price action crosses below, for instance, we were bullish here and we were above the 20 period EMA. But when we started to drop down, we ended up crossing both the 20 period and the 50 period. So that tells me right there that momentum is starting to get weakened, and a good spot to enter the trade would have been right at this cross right here, right when it started to drop below the 50 period EMA. And you would have made roughly on that trade, you would have made roughly around probably like 5%. But this is on the hourly chart as well. So, but anyway, 5%, multiply that by 10x leverage, you're going to make about 50% profit right there. All right. And the same thing is true with here as well. All right. It crossed over, and you would have entered a long right in here, and you could have made roughly around a good, solid 40% profit right there with 10x leverage within 4 hours alone. Okay. So, let's see here. The other thing that I want to mention here about the EMAs when you're trading them is another good way to be able to tell if things are extremely overbought or oversold is when price action or when the candlesticks start to get really, really far away from the 20 period EMA in a downslope. That's a good signal right there that things are extremely oversold, and a reversal is going to end up starting soon. So you could have went long right down in here somewhere. Shit, even if you went long right in here, for instance, even if you went long like right in here, and you ended up riding it all the way through to the top right here, all the way up to, right around in here or so, where they ended up where price action ended up crossing back up to the upside again, you would have made roughly without your 10x leverage, you would have made about 15%. With 10x leverage, within that one day, you would have made roughly around 150% profit just right there. Okay. So, again, EMAs are very, very nice to use. You just have to get used to them. I know it's kind of confusing to look at from, just looking at my video here. But if you do some back testing, meaning pick a random coin and turn the indicators on and go back and look at previous price action and kind of visually gauge how price action works in relation to the movement of the EMAs, you can get a general idea of how it, what it does, and when you should go long and when you should take short positions and stuff like that. So overall here though, you guys, that's honestly pretty much going to do it for this video. So if you guys have any questions about any of these indicators, I know I like to go through things kind of quick here, but if you have any questions about anything related to any of these indicators or anything related to trading in general, feel free to join my free community Discord channel, which you can find a link to in the description below this video as well. But other than that, you guys, that's going to pretty much do it for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But if you enjoyed this, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and leave me a comment below on your personal thoughts of these indicators. And with that said, for those of you who stuck around and watched this whole video throughout the whole thing, thank you guys very much. I appreciate all of you, and I hope to see all of you in my future videos.